Hi, welcome to this presentation on regulatory changes to the cannabis industry in Thailand and Southeast Asia. I'm Dr. Paul Crosio from Silk Legal, and we're presenting this today at the conference. So many people have asked me, particularly what's happening with the cannabis and hemp industry in Thailand. And of course, there's a lot of news about the new regulations that have come out recently, and whether they mean there's going to be a green rush in Thailand to make cannabis and hemp one of the key export products of the nation or not. Well, the answer is it's a mixed bag. So let's go through it in some detail, and at the end there'll be a Q&A where we can update for more information as needed. So, particularly everyone knows is that medical cannabis was legalized as a prescription medicine as far back as April 2019. However, recreational use is still illegal, heavily policed, and it does lead to significant jail time for people found breaking the law. The new notifications have come out particularly allow the use of hemp and hemp-derived products for cosmetics, industrial, and medical purposes. So this was supported most recently in January of this year through a ministerial regulation for the licensing of production, import, and export of hemp products. So, sounds promising, but don't get too excited. The present cannabis law states that for export-import licenses, you need to be a Thai national to apply for it, or a Thai company that's majority owned by Thai nationals, a state agency, or a state agency backing farmers groups to be able to apply for these licenses. Mostly people are applying for these licenses in connection with universities or medical facilities, and it's still heavily oriented towards medical use. Now, the law also forbids private companies from applying for a license for cannabis. These are private companies which aren't Thai majority companies or are not linked to government-owned organizations, as I said, like universities, etc. And that law will continue for 5 years until 2024. There's been a number of provincial growing licenses issued as well, but you've got to understand that the grow licenses mean that the crops cannot be processed for commercial use and that they're only suitable for donations. And many of the clients are surprised when the university comes for the donation, thinking there'll be some payments for the crop that they've delivered for research. That doesn't happen. This is essentially a trial where you'll be donating the outcome to the university or the particular institution that you've partnered with. So, the Narcotics Act was also updated back in 2019 to follow this deregulation of cannabis and hemp. Now, cannabis itself is as I said, a controlled substance still, but there's been regulations which have allowed its use in medical purposes for medical use. Hemp itself in the industrial sense has been in Thailand for quite a few years as part of the raw projects, but now it's opened up where it has low concentrations of CBD and THC, and seeds, oils, etc. can be used for various purposes. Now, you need to realize also that before you rush off and start your own grow, that the type of hemp that can be grown at the moment is limited to 4 varietals that have been certified in Thailand. Some of these varietals are being researched further for their production of CBD and THC, but generally you're limited to these 4 varietals. Also at the moment, there are trials occurring for cannabis itself with the higher levels of THC and CBD, and that's happening in the north of Thailand. But at this stage, there are no approved crops and approved varietals for cannabis itself. So, dissecting the plant, what parts are legal and what parts are illegal? Well, hemp seed oil is not considered a narcotic, can be used for medical purposes and for food, supplements, and cosmetics. The leaves are not considered narcotics, and they can also be used for similar purposes, medical research, food, etc. The stick itself is not considered narcotic, and again, it can be used for the same purposes. The flowers, however, are considered to be narcotic substances, and they're only to be used in medical treatment or research. The seeds are also considered to be narcotic substances, and they can be used only for planting and growing of other cannabis plants. The stems and the roots, similarly, are not considered to be narcotic substances and can be used in the production of cosmetics, food supplements, etc. So, the myths and the rumors. Many people have asked me, I've come to Thailand, is cannabis medical treatment readily and freely available? Can I, like I can in Japan and Korea, go to a chemist and buy a cannabis derived treatment? Well, the answer is no. You still need to go to a licensed clinic, although there's quite a few of those around, and the procedures are fairly easy to get through, but you still need a license, and you still technically need to carry that prescription so that you won't be considered to be a legal user. Also, is it legal for me to have my own cannabis? Once I have it, do I need to do any more? Well, clearly, it's only legal for the validity of the prescription. So if your prescription is for 3 months or 6 months, you can only carry cannabis or hemp-derived medication for that period of time. Other people say, well, the police have given up worrying about this. Well, it's not true. We have a number of clients who've fallen foul of the law and have found out to their disadvantage that recreational use of cannabis is still heavily frowned upon and leads to significant jail time. One of the people have asked me, what about Thailand? Surely it has an adequate supply of cannabis for medical purposes. Well, effectively, it does not, because it's still in the stages of developing the industry, and the use in traditional medicines, etc., has far outstripped the supply. So what we're finding is that most of the cannabis-derived medications and supplements, etc., are from illegal grow that's been confiscated, and the grow itself has not been, shall we say, grown in the ideal climate and under ideal conditions. So there's still trace elements of heavy metals, etc., in the processing in Thailand. Now, the other issue, of course, is that when you do buy at a medical clinic or a herbalist in Thailand, the quality of the production is variable. It's been cut usually many times, and whilst they state it may be full dosage THC or CBD, it certainly is not. Another popular rumor is, hey, I can grow a couple at home for domestic use. This was a political ploy by a company called Boomjay Thai, and they touted everyone being able to grow cannabis at home. Well, effectively, as we would suspect, that law never came to be, and that it's still illegal to grow cannabis at home or indeed anywhere there isn't a license issued. So, what's the ambitions for the future? The ambitions for the future is simply this, that Thailand becomes a hub for medical cannabis, cannabis for various uses, hemp for various uses for Southeast Asia and indeed Asia generally. So we're able to, at this stage, although, as I said earlier, the growth is still problematic, we're able to, at this stage, apply for an export license such that you're able to export cannabis products and indeed import the raw materials for production and export this around the world. So regulations have been prescribed for the importing and exporting of cannabis, and they came into play this year or recently. And there is a strong commitment, however, in improving access to cannabis-derived medications, but there's still the UN 61 Convention, which prescribes how cannabis can be handled outside the country, and Thailand is still committed to following the UN's guidelines in the import and export of cannabis and cannabis-derived products. So it's not a free-for-all in any sense of the word. However, in January of this year, the Thai government opened up applications for licenses to import, export, distribute, and use of hemp being defined previously, and use of hemp in various productions, whether that be traditional or Western medicine. So it's limited, the use is currently limited to Thai nationals or Thai companies with 2/3 Thai directors, partners, or shareholders, or community enterprises. There are a number of hurdles to get over that we can help with, but generally financial solvency, criminal record checks, etc., are required of people applying for these export and import licenses. So Clause 16 of the regulations tells you exactly what's required for the import and export license. But note, for the export license, you're still required to produce a certificate from the government that you're exporting to. And I say the government, not the organization you're exporting to, the government, which allows you to import the cannabis-derived product or the hemp-derived product into that country. So the ministerial notifications, you've got to, if you're going to get these licenses, you've got to show that the goal of the activity, the use of the product, the intended activity, whether it's research, development, etc., and also the size of the cultivation and where the seeds are and if they're approved varietals, or whether it's research purposes. As I said, cannabis hasn't been finalized in terms of the varietals, so whether it's for research into the cannabis crops. So there's also, when you're registering the products, there's a couple of hurdles to get through as well. When you've got hemp infused cosmetics, CBD infused cosmetics, THC infused cosmetics, there's a couple of hurdles to get through: safety, certification, FDA approvals, etc. So what substances are legal? The following substances can be used to derive food, cosmetics, and supplements: hemp seeds, hemp seed oil, and hemp seed protein. That is the limitation at this stage to these hemp-derived products. Now, the other thing is that we also have other issues of scams occurring. As the cannabis industry opened up, it became more and more apparent that there are many unscrupulous people have come into Thailand and tried to either start up a Ponzi-like scheme to get people to invest in the cannabis industry, or have farmers, institutions invest in the production of cannabis. Well, the FDA and generally the government has warned Thai nationals not to be lured into any of these quick get-rich-quick schemes, and to be diligent when they're provided with information or being approached by individuals about getting involved in the cannabis and hemp industry. So, key takeaways, let's summarize. Latest regulations permit the private sector to produce, import, and export medical hemp without needing, as it was previously, a partner with government agencies. Secondly, the private sector is only permitted to import cannabis seeds or products for research and development for the first 5 years of the regulations. Thirdly, that the developments are only baby steps in terms of the medical cannabis industry, and that there's still some momentum to build to allow for the processing and growth in the country. Fourthly, there's many misconceptions of the legality of cannabis and hemp. Some residential growers believe that they can grow plants, but simply not true. It's still highly regulated and controlled in this country. And then finally, there's current supply issues. As I said, there's about 100 clinics throughout Thailand. They're deriving their raw materials from government institutions, and as we've said before, they're all of variable quality. So there is a demand in the country building for a home industry to supply hemp and cannabis medical ingredients, but it is still being highly regulated, and the regulations have not come into play fully to allow people to enter the industry and know for certainty that they'll be granted licenses. So, is it viable to export cannabis? Well, the key takeaways is there's still a thriving black market in Thailand, and also there's a thriving import from surrounding countries. So the competitive advantage in Thailand is probably around hemp and hemp production, as well as production of higher quality medical components from cannabis and from hemp. There's a lack of bilateral agreements, however, which are blocking the export of the final products. And the government has been delaying final approval of various legislation that would make it easier for people to enter the industry. As we said, and the theme has been, it's really focused around the medical use in Thailand of CBD and THC rather than export at this stage because of the thematics that Thailand will become a herbal and Western medical hub. So there's a strong focus on this as part of the cannabis regulations. And then finally, growing cannabis, growing hemp has been and will continue to be heavily regulated in Thailand, although it is starting to open up. It's still early stages, but there is potential here. So, in summary, early stages, there isn't a green rush, but there's promising changes from the government. If you need further information, please contact us at Silk Legal. We've had many years' experience in representing companies in the cannabis and hemp industry, and we'd be pleased to meet with you and discuss the potential of cannabis hemp industry in Thailand. Thank you very much.